Alright, so day 2. Stuff that's going on today. Just kind of finished up with work. Well, no. Finished up with half of a day of work. Working with a bunch of volunteers tonight. We're doing a full cable pull of all of the audio and lighting cables and stuff that are in our stage. And I'm pretty excited about it. Just that feeling of having everything clean and completely void of tangles and have a chance to really do a deep clean and all the dust and grime and junk that's built up over the past, what I think is like 5 years or whatever. It's going to be nice to have that all fixed and cleaned up. Whew, that was a long day, and now it's late. It's like midnight, and I'm realizing that if I'm going to do this vlogging thing, or if I'm going to do this whole just kind of journaling on video or whatever you call it, that I'm gonna need to prioritize doing this earlier in the day, so that way I don't end up in this sort of situation super late at night, really wanting to sleep but still committing to doing this and wanting to follow through. And that's kind of been something on my mind, sort of all day today, is just this idea of follow through, especially with the whole vlogging thing and wanting to catalog my life and that kind of stuff. But I've been just thinking about this idea of follow through and how that's been kind of hard for me for my whole life. I'll get really focused on one thing and I'll really run super hard after that one thing for maybe a couple months max, and then it'll sort of fall off the wayside. And I think it's not because I intentionally quit that thing, it's because there's a new shiny thing that takes over and I want to do that instead. And so learning how to see things through and make time for things and that kind of stuff is something that I'm working on. And honestly, this YouTube channel is kind of my answer to that, because I know I'm an artistic person, I'm a creative person, and I'm also this weird kind of creativity where it's not necessarily sparked from what I'm feeling, but it's more sparked from having a sense of purpose in it. A while ago, my wife and I went to this guy to get some just advice on marriage and stuff, and he sort of did an analysis of us and determined that Lisa and I are both creative people, but her creativity is more the stereotypical kind where, you feel something or you think something, and so then you create based on that thought or feeling. But my type of creativity really flourishes when I have a purpose for it. So Lisa might be sad, so she'll want to draw a picture. I might be sad. It doesn't make me want to draw a picture. What makes me want to draw a picture is the idea that it might get hung up on a wall somewhere. And so having this YouTube platform really is a huge blessing for me, because it gives me an outlet to have a purpose, to have, a wall to hang this stuff on, to hang music on, to hang my thoughts on, to just kind of place them somewhere, whether or not someone watches them and is encouraged by them or connects or can relate to the feelings and thoughts that I'm having and stuff that I'm going through or whatever. Just the fact that it has a place to live and has a place to be and has a potential purpose is enough to keep me coming back. And I'm a morning person. I'm not I'm not a night person. This is tough keeping my eyes open, and it's dark and the film is grainy and all that stuff. I don't have the proper lighting to be doing this in the dark room that I'm in right now. But normally it's pretty hard for me to follow through on something, especially late at night, because my brain turns off around 4 p.m. And today I've just been making it through and hitting it hard. Big weekend coming up at church. It's fall kickoff weekend, which is a time when people start thinking about coming back to church and processing God and and trying to figure out the whole faith thing and maybe having more of a schedule in their life. And so fall kickoff is a big time of year for my church. It's a big time of year for me wanting to do ministry and helping people meet Jesus. And so, it was a long day today, and it was spent doing something that we really needed to do in the creative department at the church, which was a full deep clean of the stage area, which meant like digging around under our stage, pulling out all the old cabling, all of the build-up cleaning, all that stuff. It's just really important. I'm already realizing and getting this intense feeling of peace going into a big weekend, and just being able to know that underneath the stage it's not a bunch of cobwebs and like this nasty mess down there, but it's clean and nice and organized, and all of the cabling is run correctly. We turned on the sound system and it was like butter. Like there wasn't any stray signals or any buzzing coming through the system at all, so that felt really, really good. But here I'm at the end of the day, and normally in a day like this I would just like conk out. I would be completely brain turned off, hit the bed, just fall asleep instantaneously. But the thought of turning on this camera and sharing a little bit of what I'm thinking, sharing a little bit of what I'm feeling, sharing a little bit of what my day was like, I don't know, it was enough to make me want to pop this camera on and talk a little bit. So maybe if you're watching this, what are some things that you've had trouble following through on? You can leave them in the comments below, or just at the very least process through them in your head, because I think a lot of times when we want to have better follow through, that's a good tip off that it's something that's important in our lives, and it's worth setting aside time and figuring out how to make it a priority. So for me, time with God, time reading scripture, time playing music, time thinking creatively and trying to just kind of honestly calm down and let my guard down at the end of the day or the beginning of the day. Those are really important things to me that I haven't been able to prioritize before. So like I said earlier, this YouTube channel is in a way, not in a way, it's completely my attempt at trying to prioritize those things better. I know that YouTube has driven me to have a lot of long hours and do things in the past that are outside of my sleep schedule, outside of my family schedule and stuff. And so I was like, you know what, if I can find the right way to use that, to use YouTube to help me to make a priority out of those other things that are really important in my life, then maybe I'll see them really become a priority. And at the very least, I feel like it's me just processing my thoughts and getting them organized in a way that maybe I'll do tomorrow a little differently. I'll wake up, and instead of just kind of like slogging onto the internet and watching a couple of YouTube videos and just telling myself that, oh, this is how I wake up, maybe tomorrow morning I'll wake up and turn on some Hammock or some Caspian, or just some music that makes me happy and peaceful, and drink a cup of coffee and just enjoy nature, just like looking out my window and watching the stillness of the morning kind of rise on the trees, and just kind of take in that. I know that that's one of the biggest ways that I connect with God, is just looking at creation and just hanging out in it. And so, maybe just talking about it and processing that on video with potentially nobody at all is just a way for me to do a little bit more of that kind of morning, rather than sort of a mindless, just get through the morning kind of routine. So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts for the day. It's really, really weird that a 10-minute video can seem like so long, especially, I suppose it's mostly because I'm kind of just talking to a black circle. But who knows? Maybe somebody on the other side of this will be encouraged by that, or at least spark some thought, or hopefully it'll make your day better in some way. But if not, that's all worth it too, because like I said before, this is just me attempting to get my priorities on track in life, and me attempting to move toward who I believe God has called me to be. And so, yeah, if you're watching this and you enjoyed this, thanks for hanging out. Peace.